An 11th hour scramble has staved off a massive trade war that was set to launch at midnight. After giving a 30-day reprieve to Mexico, which led to a rally on the markets after a chaotic start to the week, Donald Trump also agreed to pause tariffs on Canada for the same time period. CTV's senior political correspondent Michael Couture on what it took to come back from the brink.
Tariffs are very powerful, both economically and in getting everything else you want.
The threat of those tariffs helped U.S. President Donald Trump get a deal with Canada. It took 2 phone calls between the 2 leaders, but in the late afternoon, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced on social media, Canada earned a 30-day reprieve.
We've always believed, I certainly always believed, we could find our way forward, and it looks like we have, but we have work to do.
Well, fentanyl had been Trump's main concern, and today, Canada presented an enhanced border plan. It includes the appointment of a fentanyl czar, listing Mexican drug cartels as terrorists, and a new $200 million intelligence directive focused on organized crime and the deadly opioid. That's on top of the already announced $1.3 billion plan to strengthen our border.
We're going to have to stick together as a country, and we're going to have to execute on a number of these new measures to be able to show to the president that we're serious. And we're going to be cooperating with so many of our American counterparts. So I think this is something that we can overcome.
Mexico also earned a pause after its president promised to send 10,000 National Guard troops to her northern border to prevent the flow of fentanyl. But the border may not be the only issue Trump has with Canada. In his post praising Canada's plan, President Trump wrote the pause will be 30 days to, quote, see whether or not a final economic deal with Canada can be structured.
Like, banks aren't allowed to do business in Canada. Canada is very tough. Canada is very, we're not treated well by Canada.
In fact, U.S. banks do operate in this country. The Canadian Bankers Association points out U.S. banks make up half of all foreign bank assets in Canada. That misunderstanding of the relationship has some premiers still concerned despite the reprieve.
There's one person that is bent on tariffs of some sort on this continent, and what we need to do is ensure that everyone else in that room doesn't think it's a good idea, because it isn't.
Canadian politicians now have 30 days to continue their outreach south of the border in the hopes of convincing Trump and the people around him that tariffs will do damage to both countries.